So in this video, what I'm trying to address real quick is a few months ago, I finally found a Filthy Habits Section 3 exhaust for my E46 M3. If you know anything about these exhausts, they were popular probably about 10 years or so ago. Definitely not common whatsoever, and they were made to order pretty much by an individual. I'm pretty sure he was upstate New York. Long story short, finally found one on Facebook Marketplace, had it shipped here from Canada, and upon installing the exhaust, what I noticed really quick was with the valves closed, there was a pretty loud rattle, especially during cold start until the revs calmed down. But upon opening the valves, that rattle went away. So in this video, I dove in to try to figure out where that rattle is coming from and then the best way to address moving forward.
Alright, so this is pretty much the main issue with the rattle. Now, keep in mind you got one on this side and then you have one on the other side of the muffler. But pretty much you can hear me do this, right? I really think the problem here is the flap within the pipe has a little bit of play in it. And also the spring is only so strong. So what I've done is gone ahead and kind of loosened this nut up, locking nut up. And I really screwed this out as much as possible before it ran out of threads. And therefore pushing the flap closed as hard as the spring can push. Prior to me taking this video, it probably was up 3 threads. So this has helped tremendously. I did the same thing on the other side of the muffler. Where I'm left at is during cold start until the revs drop, you still have a rattle. Now it's not nearly as bad, but once that rattle, or once that RPM does drop, the rattle's gone. So really kind of moving forward, there's gonna be a lot. I mean, I'd have to drop the exhaust, figure out a better way to maybe shimmy this to where there is no left to right play. And then the other thing too is the best route of, I don't know, maybe you can get a stronger spring on it. I gotta look into it, but up here is gonna be the next issue. But as of now, this is the best it's gonna get. So prior to pulling everything apart today, we noticed that the right side of the exhaust was a little bit higher than the left side. And being that the left side is already maxed out from an adjustment standpoint, as you'll see through this picture, that, you know, they had this zip tied through here, therefore not letting the exhaust drop fully on the adjustment. So what we did is we cut the existing zip tie, and what we're going to do is we are just going to pull it up a little bit higher using the actual rubber. Okay, so now that you can see, we were able to use a couple different zip ties to hold it higher up and not use the actual adjusting hanger to do that. So what that did was that was able to get us I would say we probably had about a 1/4 inch where the right side was higher than the left. And as you can see over on the left side, the adjusting point was already maxed out on as high as we were going to be able to get this exhaust. So this was pretty much the only option. And luckily, you know, it was just enough off to where that zip tie amount, which was, as you can see the zip tie here, you know, this gave us just enough adjustment to lower it down. What I'm about to do now is take a remeasurement and see how close we were able to actually get this exhaust to be even when it comes to the quad setup. You know, especially when we put the diffuser on, I don't foresee you really being able to tell the difference, but we're about to find out. All right, so I'm trying to get this middle lined up. So right here we are roughly almost at 3 inches exact. Let's see where we can end up over here. Yeah, okay, so we are a lot closer than we were. And you know what? I'm gonna take that. So let's go ahead and put the diffuser back on. As you can see, they're not completely centered. See the gap here, and then the gap there. A little bit different. You know, there's really not much to do underneath to move the section 3 to the left or to the right. So the only thing we're gonna be able to do to get this to go literally slightly to the left is we are going to drop this hanger again, and then we are going to actually bend this piece right here a little bit this way, and it should give us that 1/4 inch we need to the left. We'll see what happens. So, unfortunately, I took everything back apart. You know, earlier we were trying to get both sides of the exhaust, or both tips, from a high perspective as even as possible. And pretty much we got within 1/8 of an inch. The right side was just a slight bit taller than the left. And look, that was the best it was gonna get. But upon putting the diffuser back on, you know, I noticed that the right, or the passenger side, was a little bit farther right than the driver's side. So the only thing I was able to do to correct it as much as possible was, as you'll see, I was able to kind of bend this bracket a little that way, therefore pushing the exhaust ever so slightly this way. But right now, this is the best the exhaust is going to get. And I say that without modifying either that or this bracket over here, which would mean taking it actually off the exhaust and re-welding it. There's just no possible way to make this side go up anymore and this side to go down anymore. And there's no way to make it go left any more than it already is. So what we're gonna do is put the diffuser back on, and we're gonna live with it for right now. All right, bud?
Well, right now this is about as best as it's going to get for my Filthy Habits Section 3 that I picked up. Again, what I'm keeping in mind is each one of these, look, I know they're probably in a jig, right? But they were all handmade. I'm sure everyone's a little bit different. At the end of the day, it's not terrible. We can definitely redo the brackets to make the adjusting spot on. But for right now, this is the best it's going to get, and the rattle is the best it's going to get until I can really take the whole Section 3 down and think a little bit better on how we're going to go about spacing the valves within the pipes. But for now, we're going to go ahead and lower the car and really just do a quick wipe down for our Cars and Coffee event tomorrow morning.